What's going on, guys? So I know I've mentioned in a couple of videos in the past that I've been working on a semester-long research project as part of my requirements to graduate, and it's specifically for my history class in United States Latin American relations. I think I've mentioned that before, and I kind of just want to make an update video talking about that, both to keep me on track and to update you guys on what I'm actually going to be researching for a little bit in for the next month and a half, I guess. So basically, this is just a long term research project, kind of to get our toes wet into actual historical research. It's about a 25-30 page research paper on any subject that we want, as long as it's in United States and Latin American relations. And so I just want to talk a little bit about my topic in a very broad sense, because I still don't completely have the exact thing I want to write about yet, but I have both the actual intellectual framework as well as the general subject of it. And I feel like talking about it will both let me know what sounds interesting as I say it aloud for like the second time ever, and let you guys know what I'm doing. So I literally just have my proposal that I had, which was my notes I went off of when I talked to my professor. So I'm going to read off of those, basically, give or take, elaborate where need be. This was not my first topic I had in mind. The first topic I had was about Cubans, specifically Cuban spies in the Revolutionary War, which was a very interesting topic. I just thought it would be hard as hell to actually research, because I don't know a single source. And I looked it up for a little bit and I could not find much. Because, it's spies, it's espionage. But anyway, the topic I decided to settle on, and by settle on, it's still something I'm really interested in, specifically because I'm using, in my theoretical framework, I'm using ideas from previous classes that I found really interesting, specifically from my pandemics class. But so my topic is the United States and the Panama Canal Zone. Specifically, this is my theoretical framework, is the implementation of colonial medicine and biopower within the Panama Canal Zone. And so in the back of my head, while I'm writing this paper, what I'm going to be thinking about, how I'm going to be viewing everything I'm going to be talking about, is in a lens of how did the United States implement colonial medicine and biopower within the Panama Canal Zone. Those are weird words. What do they mean? Colonial medicine, also known as high modernism, is medicine practiced in colonies connected to the colonizing power through imperial and global processes and policies, but unique to each locale due to climate, indigenous beliefs, practices, regional geopolitics, and other complex factors. And because of its relation to high modernism and imperialism, it's basically medicine as imperialism and racial othering. Excuse me, and specifically within the Panama Canal Zone, that can very easily be seen. The racial othering was insane between the workers and the Panamanian workers, the Panamanian citizens living in the Canal Zone versus the other workers versus the Panamanians living outside the Canal Zone. It's a disgusting caste, basically. And so colonial medicine is a recolonization of the tropics of sorts. It's modernity described as the development of technology and society, politics, and the growth of capitalism, which I think the canal is an incredible example of that. And so we also have biopower. It's a Foucaultian idea. It is just basically intervention by the state in the life of the people. It is management of the population health and public health using state intervention into the lives of the public. Basically, to define it word for word, quote, relates to the practice of modern nation states and the regulation of their subjects through an explosion of numerous and diverse techniques for achieving the subjugations of bodies and the control of populations. And so that's cool. That's my theoretical framework. So basically, my deep dive is going to be into how the United States, through their management of disease, such as malaria and other diseases that were considered tropical diseases. I'm using tropical like that because I'm not actually saying it in the derogatory type of way that a lot of people talk about tropical or those types of diseases. I'm not saying it like that, because if you read a lot of literature on the time, it's basically tropical diseases is like the worst thing you could say. But that's a whole concept in itself of tropicality, which is, I literally took half a semester talking about tropicality itself. But it's looking at how the United States, through the building of the Panama Canal, like 1905 to 1911, I believe are the exact years, and how their treatment of the tropical diseases basically screwed the Panamanian population and introduced much heavier racial othering, economic disparities, stuff like that. And so through the paper, what I want to do is I want to focus on the construction. So basically, and during that construction, the entire time they were also focused on controlling malaria. So I want to focus on the construction and how they were trying to control malaria during that time frame. I want to look at stability, specifically medical stability, at the cost of autonomy, specifically within the Panama Canal Zone. I want to look at the economic disparities created by the Canal Zone, which is a very key concept of colonial medicine and then I connect that to the racial othering. And then the takeover of Panamanian land through the canal project as a way of continuing colonization. I can touch on, us basically protectoratizing them, making them a protectorate of us. And I can get the Panamanian viewpoint as well, specifically the societal issues and the divisions within the Panama Canal Zone itself, because the Panamanians were not happy about it. Why would they be? I could also touch on if the United States itself had any colonial thought doing this. During the colonial medicine, did they have any actual colonial thoughts on it? But what does that really mean? That's still what I'm getting into. Basically, I know from reading that there were a ton of disparities racially and economically. I know a lot of them came during this construction period of the Panama Canal. So what do I need to do? I need to read more and basically look at how the specific processes that the United States did to fight malaria and other diseases during this construction led to those differences, those racial biases, those racial differences, the economic differences. I mean, that's obviously the different payrolls that they were all on, stuff like that. And so I have literally about a page of sources already that I need to read. Majority of them are books. Some of them are journal entries. And then I have to read through the very good old primary sources of the time. Looking into some things such as the annual reports of the Canal Commission, the proceedings of the Canal Commission, the U.S. House Committee session on the Canal Zone, and the Medical Commission of the Canal Zone as some of my primary sources. I need to get more. I'm going to look into Panamanian newspapers. I'm going to look at U.S. newspapers talking about the Panama Canal if possible. But that's just the brief framework. I'm talking about broad topics like colonial medicine and biopower within the framework of the United States, specifically in the Panama Canal Zone. And I thought I just wanted to make this video to, update you all on that research, to keep me on track, to basically voice it out and basically make it real, saying, all right, this is going on the internet. This is what I'm researching for the next month. It's real now. I need to actually buckle down and get work done because it is real. That's basically it. I hope to make more videos discussing my processes of research, which is basically, some videos might just be like, yeah, I read 4 books this week, all about the same goddamn topic of the Panama Canal construction, and it was interesting, I guess. That's exciting. I'm excited to do higher level research for once. That's about all I got. Thanks for watching.